non-believers.
How did that?
Call them non-believers. Especially you, Tom Jackson. Way to have our back, Keyshawn. Anybody can be beat.
All right, guys, welcome back to Jets View. I know it's been a minute since I've jumped on here and shared any Jets content, but we're back. We're back at it. Draft is in a couple days. Always a time of year that I look forward to for our New York Jets, including every fan base. I'm sure this is a exciting time of year to see what potential prospects can join our ranks and be that superstar that we all hope and dream for to join our team. You know, coming out of free agency, I think the Jets did a decent job in securing a lot of defensive talent. Not, you know, my only gripe with the whole free agency thing was I felt like we could have targeted some more of the top end guys, especially at linebacker. But all in all, I was happy and was pleased that I seen how Darren Muji, our general manager, moved and the deals he made and the talent he brought in. He brought in quality plug and play guys that can be productive. You know, especially on the defensive side of the football, we really stocked up on some depth and talent in regards to that, which we were in dire needs for. So moving and transitioning into the draft this coming Thursday, you know, it's exciting. Let's just be point blank and blunt about it. This is a time of year where I get super excited. It's all going to come down to these first 4 picks that we got in this upcoming draft, and it's imperative that our New York Jets, Darren Muji, Aaron Glenn and company really hit on all 4 of these first picks that we have in these first 2 rounds. So moving into the draft, we got pick number 2, then we got pick number 16 that via the Sauce Gardner trade with the Colts, and then we have pick number 33 opening up the second round, which is always a coveted pick, and then pick number 44 coming off of the Quinn Williams trade to the Cowboys. So listen, we got the opportunity to put 4 quality starters, impact players, plug and play players immediately and insert them into this team and, you know, start building this team, the core of this team moving forward. It's imperative that we get these first 4 picks correct. And today, I'll just give you a quick breakdown of what the video is going to entail. I'm going to go through, obviously, my vision, my views, and the prospects that I feel like the Jets should be targeting. I'll start with obviously the first round picks. I'll target first the number 2 pick. I have 3 guys that, you know, I feel like the Jets should be targeting. I would assume that a lot of you Jet fans have already heard these names before. There's endless videos about you know, draft prospects and all this stuff. Listen, I'm going to give you my guys that I think that the Jets should target. I'll also give you some side opinions on maybe some scenarios that could pop up where we might go a different route than what is being shoved down our throats right now. And then I'll move on to picks number 16. I'll give you 3 guys where I feel like the Jets should target. And then we'll touch briefly on the second round picks number 33 and number 44. I'll give you a couple guys that I think the Jets should look at obtaining if they're available at that point. So, yeah, listen, there's been so much hype and buzz around the number 2 pick. Obviously, number 1 pick is going to be Fernando Mendoza. We all know that. He's been the guy since day one on all these mock draft things, you know. And talking about these mock drafts, let's touch base on that real quick, because I know I can get sidetracked real quick. These mock drafts are just ridiculous with all these fucking so-called experts and all these people with fucking opinions. Listen, man, at the end of the day, the Jets are going to do what the Jets want to do. And they've proven that time and time again. Look at the Will McDonald pick not so long ago. So whoever they covet and they value, they're gonna make that selection, regardless of whatever fucking mock draft 10.0 that this fucking guy puts out, or you know, whatever these it gets out of hand, and it's like an overload of information, and the fan base is sitting there. I don't know what the hell. We don't know what the hell to think or what the hell is going to go on. But I can guarantee you this: they're going to pick who they feel like is the best guy for them. That's just the fact of the matter. So leading up into this upcoming season, obviously everybody knows that Aaron Glenn is on the hot seat. I don't know so much if Darren Muji still would be on the hot seat as well, but listen, he needs guys to step in and produce immediately. And you know, I keep harping on this, and I talk about this with my uncle, the OG Jet fan. I talk about this with my boy JP. It's imperative that we get these first 4 picks correct, and even more so if you want to push it even further, these first 2 picks, especially pick number 2. This has got to be guys that you can put in instantly and they're gonna be able to make an impact instantly. I don't like picking guys that have question marks or all this other garbage. Listen, they got to be pretty much surefire. Obviously, nothing's surefire because they're coming out of college and going into the NFL. So there's a transition. There's levels of competition that they got to adjust to. But we can't reach on people at this point. They have to be plug and play players, that are clear and reliable starters for us moving forward. And that's where I base my prospects that I'm going to tell you about. And I tell you 9 times out of 10, any guy that I think that the Jets should select, I'm going to tell you they won't select. And I feel like as a fan base collectively, as a Jets fan base collectively, we know what's going on. We know what the team needs. We know what kind of players we should bring in, but the fucking team does whatever they want, and they choose Will McDonald. So let's not go down that rabbit hole. Before you guys break my balls, and I know my wife's probably gonna break my balls. Yes, I'm wearing some Knicks gear. Game 2 tonight with the Hawks. Listen, love my Knicks. It's gonna be Knicks in 5 for this Atlanta series, and I'm hoping and praying that we get these fucking Boston bums in round, whenever we get a chance, and smack them around real good. Anyway, I don't want to get off topic, but go Knicks all day, every day. And thank God for my Knicks, because the Jets are on the other end of the spectrum in regards to consistency and being productive and just a winning organization. We don't want to go down there. So let's get into this. Listen, I'm going to pick number 2, right? Obviously, everybody's heard the big 3 names, and these are the 3 names that are on my list. Because I'm trying to give you 3 prospects that are going to be available and are clearly like the favorites at that number 2 pick, that will fit our needs and what we actually can do with what the fuck am I talking about? Son of a bitch. Anyway, listen, these are at pick number 2. Let's just do it. I'm gonna have to fucking cut all this garbage out. At pick number 2, I've targeted 3 guys. There's other guys that I could see us going after, but guess what? I know for damn sure that they're not gonna pick. I'll mention the guys' names at the end of these first 3 guys, and then you guys can let me know and share your thoughts and comments in regards to that. Number 1, at pick number 2, it's got to be one of these 3 guys: Arvell Reese, David Bailey, or Rueben Bain Jr. All have their pros and cons and different abilities that they can bring to our New York Jets. So let's start with number 1, Arvell Reese, Ohio State, off-ball linebacker, edge, rusher, part-time rusher, whatever you want to say. Listen, he's 6'4", 240 pounds. Excuse me if you see me, my eyes wandering. I got all my notes behind the camera. So once again, Arvell Reese, 6'4", 240 pounds, Big Ten linebacker of the year this year. All-American. He was a national champ in 2024. His stats this season were 69 total tackles, 34 solo tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 2 pass defenses. Listen, he's what you could say about him is he's an elite athlete with all the physical intangibles that you can ever imagine. And obviously he has the upside, and he's a true off-ball linebacker. And he made that statement known that he wants to be an off-ball linebacker and not just be one-dimensional, which I appreciate. Some of the issues that I see with this guy, he's only had 1 year of productivity, and that's something that is alarming to me. Also, if you look back to this past season at Ohio State, in the final 6 games of the season, he had 0 sacks. So, another thing that people don't think about is that this guy played on a stacked and elite defense. I think they allowed under 10 points per game. So there's a lot of playmakers out there, and not a lot of, you can't really double team a lot of these guys because there's just elite playmakers all over that Ohio State defense. A couple of guys that are who I would really like to see the Jets target, because I feel like they're more of a surefire thing, but we'll get to that later. So like I said, Arvell Reese, you're drafting the upside and the potential. That's just the fact of the matter, because you can't base it on productivity. Everybody's looking to compare him to Micah Parsons and all this stuff. I think that's unfair to the kid. But if that's something that he can turn and develop into? Absolutely. Will I be mad if they pick Arvell Reese at that spot? Absolutely not. Because listen, it's going to be incumbent upon the coaching staff to coach this guy up and bring him to that level. Draw out all that upside and potential and talent that he has, and let it reflect in his play. He'll transition nicely into that 3-4 defense. He could drop back in coverage. He can come up and tackle against the run, and when need be, he can get after the passer. His pass rushing skills need to be developed. That's one of the key points that he's going to have to develop in the NFL. But does he have the skills, the skill set and just the physical tools to do that? Absolutely. But like I said, I wouldn't be upset if he came out and was that number 2 pick for us. So moving to the next prospect at number 2, potentially, this is a guy that's been getting a lot of buzz and lately has been on a lot of these fucking mock drafts, getting pushed over to the New York Jets. David Bailey, the Texas Tech edge rusher. Listen, I'm just going to put this out there. I do not want to see the Jets select him at number 2. I'll give you a breakdown of some of the things, but I'm going to say this. I just do not like him at that number 2 slot. Talking about question marks, it's question marks all over the page when it comes to him. Primarily in being that true 3-4 off-ball outside linebacker that the Jets would need him to slide in and be. David Bailey, he's 6'3", 250 pounds, All-American. His 2025 stats are what really made him shine and shoot up the draft board. He had 14.5 sacks, the most. I think he was tied in college football for the most sacks for the season. He had 81 pressures, and then he had 43 hurries. So he can, in his role as a pass rusher, listen, you can't knock it. The guy knows how to get the job done. Even going back to his time when he played at Stanford, right? This year was his breakout season, but those 3 years prior, he was a 5 to 7 sack kind of guy, which isn't great. But listen, he's produced every year he's been in college football. This year obviously was his standout year, well timed by him. Like I said, he was an All-American, and to be fair, he's just the best pure pass rusher draft prospect coming out this year, and that's just the fact of the matter. We all know as Jet fans that that's something we've struggled with mightily this past season, and we need that type of presence on the field that can really get after pass rusher, get it after the quarterback. Excuse me. So, but the biggest concern for me, he's not good dropping back in coverage. He is an extreme liability in the run game. He gets moved around. He's overly aggressive, over pursues. And, you know, you could even see by what Texas Tech used them. In clear rundowns or situations where the opponent was going to run the ball, they took him off the field. And that says a lot. That speaks volumes that they didn't trust him against, the run. How is that going to translate to the NFL? They're going to run right at him. We already have a guy that can't play the run and gets bullied around in Will McDonald. So you can't take a guy like this at number 2, a situational pass rusher. Obviously, the kid can develop and get better and solidify his stopping the run and all this stuff. But that's a project. We don't need a project right now. We need a guy that can step in and be an impact player. Obviously, he can come that when it comes to rushing the passer, he's the best prospect out there. But we need him to do a lot more than that. So that's my thoughts and feelings on David Bailey. For me, it's a big no. But he's been getting a lot of buzz lately, and where there's smoke, there's fire. Or maybe this is just like a tactic by Darren Muji and the Jets, throw people off. I don't know the games that these fucking teams play, but let's move on. Third guy he was my first. How should I say it? He was the guy that I wanted and coveted the most once the college football season ended and that championship game ended. I was like, I want Rueben Bain Jr. That's the guy that I want for the Jets. And you saw him in the college football playoffs absolutely dominate. During that stretch of during the playoff stretch, man, this kid had like 5 sacks, but he was everywhere. This guy was a menace. He was a great disruptor in the backfield. This is the guy that I wanted. And then all the reports came out, right? His arm length. That's all you kept hearing, his arm length. It was like 30 inches or something like that. And everybody's having a fucking fit about his arm length. Listen, I give a fuck about his arm length. Because guess what? He gets the job done. Period, point blank. Out of all 3 of these guys that I've just mentioned right now, he has been the most consistent since day one. Day one. He came in as a rookie and gave gave Miami 12.5 sacks as a rookie in his rookie year. He was an immediate impact player. And he's been like that ever since he's been productive every year in college. You can't tell, his stats are literally year after year, pretty much the same thing. Let's talk about his stats. First of all, his size. 6'2", 263 pounds. His 2025 stats, 54 tackles, 15.5 tackles for loss, and 9.5 sacks. When I tell you this guy is an extremely productive guy, reliable, consistent, that's what the Jets need. They need a guy just like that to step in. He might not be a Micah Parsons or develop into or have a high of a ceiling as like an Arvell Reese. But guess what? You know damn well what you're going to get. And you're going to have a guy that's going to work his ass off, fight, scrap, and he's going to go after that passer. And he's going to play the run. He can do it all. Obviously, when it comes to a 3-4 defense, he's going to have to be used and coached up a little bit when dropping back into coverage and stuff like that as an off-ball linebacker. But he's versatile. You can slide him in sometimes and have him line up with his hand in the ground over a tackle. He's stout enough to play that position. So, once again, another guy, All-American. He was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, Ted Hendricks Award winner. like I said, elite production and consistency from day one. That's the biggest thing and the biggest positive I could say about this guy. Now, of course, in this last week, we saw what happened, as always happens in leading up to the draft. These top prospects, one of them or two of them, some type of character issues pop up, and we found out about Rueben Bain Jr. getting into a car accident where unfortunately a young female passed away as a result of it, and now he's facing some legal problems. I was talking about this with my uncle, and what I said to my uncle was that, listen, young guys in particular make mistakes, and you would hope and pray that this guy can learn and be remorseful and just learn his lesson at the end of the day. But then you also got to remember, this is you don't want to bring in an issue like that into your locker room. If a guy has a problem off the field problems, that could just derail his whole career. That's the only red flag that I'm seeing with this guy. I don't give a damn about his arm length. When something like that pops up, you're going to see now this guy's going to start sliding down the draft board. And it's unfortunate because he's, for me, the most productive and consistent player when it comes to this edge defender, whatever you want to call it. So those are the three guys that obviously I feel like the Jets are going to target. Out of the three, if I give you like my top three, 1 to 3, one would be, I would have to say Arvell Reese. Number 2 would be Rueben Bain Jr. Number 3 would be David Bailey. So outliers that I was alluding to before, and I've talked about this with my boys, is that, if you were going to go in here and just pick the best player available, and a guy that can step in and just be an immediate impact, despite their, positional rankings, because obviously, an edge rusher is going to be coveted a lot higher than, let's say, a safety or middle linebacker or something like that. And you would have to, kind of pull and reach to bring a guy at that number 2 spot. But guess what? You have a guy like, I was just about to tell you, you have a guy like Sonny Styles, another Ohio State guy, like I said before. One of the negative, talking points with Arvell Reese, he came from an elite defense. So you have a guy like Sonny Styles that can, for a fact, that can step in there and just be a plug and play. He's going to be an all-pro. I mean, obviously you can't say it with certainty, but for anybody looking at his play will know that he's going to step in and should be like a flawless transition into the NFL. He could be a good linebacker. Then you think of a guy like a safety like Caleb Downs, who, in my opinion, is probably the most complete and NFL ready player in this draft. You plug him in with right next to Mika Fitzpatrick. Now you solidified that back end of that defense for a long time, and people obviously won't look at a safety as being a guy that should be taken at the number 2 pick. But guess what? Safeties make a great big impact on that defense. And a guy like Caleb Downs could step in and make an immediate impact. And playing and learning behind a guy like Mika Fitzpatrick that we brought in via trade, it's a win-win situation. So will I be shocked if the Jets turn around and said, you know what, let's bring in Caleb Downs at that number 2 pick? I'd be happy. Same thing with Sonny Styles. But do I think they're going to do that? Obviously, I don't feel like they're going to do that. But yeah, that's just my thoughts and opinions on that. I know a lot of people are talking about the Jets moving up back into that to the top 10 to maybe take one of the 2 guys, Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles, and I hear a lot of people talking about Carnell Tate, the wide receiver from Ohio State. Seems like this is just a factory producing NFL talent. My uncle, the OG Jet fan, sent me an article. You talk about like NFL prospects and the schools that they come from is Alabama and Ohio State. Those are the two NFL producing factories coming out of the college ranks. Anyway, so that's my thoughts and feelings on at the number 2 pick. As far as moving up into the top 10 to maybe select one of these guys and grab one of these guys before somebody else does, I don't know how I feel about that. Listen, if we can move up and get a guy like Caleb Downs, I'd be ecstatic. So, but it's just going to depend on what the price is to move up. And I would assume that you would have to move either the pick number 33 or more likely pick number 44 with your 16th pick to move up to that. I know there's a conversion chart, like point-based, to see what the value of each pick is. So do the Jets move up to number 7 and trade away the 16th and the 44th pick to do that? I'd be okay with that, to bring in a guy like that. Caleb Downs or, Sonny Styles, I'd be more than happy with that. So let's move on to pick number 16 if things stand as is. And obviously at pick number 16, the consensus is that the Jets are going to target a wide receiver to couple and complement our stud, our guy, Garrett Wilson. These 3 guys are well known. Obviously, there's a good handful of first round wide receiver talents out there. I just picked out the 3 that I feel like will be there at 16, more likely than not, and I'll give you my favorite out of the bunch as well. So starting with number 1, for me, it's going to be Makai Lemon, the wide receiver out of USC. 5'11", 192 pounds, career stats, 24 games played, 146 receptions, 1,783 yards, and 15 touchdowns. Pretty good. Everybody knows he's an extremely dynamic slot weapon, and that's probably like an understatement. Excellent route runner, creates great separation in his route running. Extremely good at the yak, the yards after catch. And like I said, another thing is he's versatile. He can line up. He doesn't have to be a true slot. He can slide outside. He can do it all. His size limits that a little bit, but at that slot position, it would be a nice little fit, and it would be a nice little compliment. It would be a great compliment for having, for Garrett Wilson on the outside at the X. So, listen, if you want to compare him to an NFL prospect, I'm looking into it. You could compare him to like a Arma. I say his name wrong all the time. The Lions guy, St. Brown. Listen, if we can get that type of productivity, we'll be pretty good. So my number 2 prospect at the number 16 pick is a guy that I really like and I really love. I feel like he will be available as opposed to like Makai Lemon. I feel like he might be taken off the draft board at that point. But my number 2 guy is Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana. Listen, 6 foot. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. Career stats: 27 games played, 124 receptions, 1,512 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Listen, when you talk about this dude, you talk about physicality. He's a violent and physical route runner. He uses his body extremely well, and he has extremely reliable and strong hands. If that ball touches him, he's gonna lock it up. Excellent in contested catches. Excellent down at the red zone, third down conversions. Like, this guy is that type of dude where he's reliable. I know he lacks a little bit in his route tree and his route running, but that's something that can be coached up, I believe. And listen, another great compliment for Garrett Wilson. Because at the end of the day, all these guys that I mentioned, this is just a compliment, Garrett Wilson. And it takes some of the heat off of Garrett Wilson so he can move in and out and be versatile, move into the slot, moving outside to a true X. He can be, this is all to help out Garrett Wilson. But I think this guy, Omar Cooper, I think he's going to be a sneaky good pick, really good pick. Whoever gets him, God willing, it is the Jets. And if you want to compare him to a guy that, for me, he reminds me of a prime Deebo Samuels. That's going to use his body very well, and be physical, a guy like that. So take that for what it is. My number three prospect at the number 16 pick is Jordyn Tyson, the wide receiver out of Arizona State, 6'2", 203 pounds. Career stats: 21 games, 89 receptions, 1,420 yards and 12 touchdowns. So when it comes to Jordyn Tyson, listen, he's an explosive playmaker, and he could wreak havoc on the secondary. He could stretch out the defense. He can do it all. He has, like I said, that it's embedded in him where he's just a playmaker. If you watch some of his highlights, he's just a pure playmaker. He has that mentality that he's going to be that type of playmaker. Like I said, he's elite body control, and he's extremely good at high pointing the ball. These are all fantastic qualities to have at the wide receiver spot. But listen, the glaring issue with Jordyn Tyson is that in each of his seasons, he started his career at Colorado. It's been plagued, and he's missed games. So that's the red flag. In 2022, he injured his knee, tore up his ACL, MCL, PCL. In 2023, I believe he redshirted, and then 2024, he broke his collarbone. 2025, he missed games with his hamstrings. So, listen, when it comes to these type of guys, and especially these first-round picks, availability is everything, and being durable is everything. But his upside is incredible. When he's healthy, he might be the best wide receiver in this draft. He has that type of talent and skill to do that, and the size to do that. If you want to compare him to a NFL prospect when he's healthy and at his best, you think about the Commanders guy, the Terry McLaurin. Like, that's how good this guy could be. And like I said, he'd be another exceptional compliment to our guy Garrett Wilson. Would I be mad if they select him? No, but I do have my concerns and just because of his injury history. We know if anything can go bad with a fucking team or a player, it's gonna go bad with a player that plays for the New York Jets, i.e. fucking AVT. And fuck you for deciding to go to the fucking Patriots. I can't stand shit like that. I don't even want to fucking get into that. I love that fucking dude, man. The Jet fan base love that dude, and for him to turn around and go to the fucking Patriots, man, I wish you nothing but I don't want to put nothing negative energy out into this fucking world, because enough of that fucking bullshit is going around in this world. But guess what? Fuck you. And Moses too. Fuck you too. Respectfully. Yeah, so those are my guys. If I have to rank them out of who I would want to see at that spot, from 1 to 3, Lemon is the clear number 1 for me. If he falls to number 16, they better run that fucking pick up there. But if he's off the board, number 2 easily is Omar Cooper Jr. for me. And then the outlier is Jordyn Tyson, if you want to take that flyer on like if you could figure out how to be fucking healthy. But like I said, when it comes to the Jets, anything can go wrong will go wrong. We have to fucking always remember that. We have a fucking cloud, a black curse over us, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So you can guarantee if he comes to play for the Jets, he's going to be fucking injured again. But I don't wish nothing like that on him. Anyway, so that's my selection of that. I know a lot of guys are talking about the Penn State guard, maybe slide him in there. I don't know about that, but so let's quickly jump into round number 2. We got picks number 33 and pick number 44. At 33, obviously, that's a very coveted pick. At the end, the close of day one, now everybody's about to sit back and really break down who's available, who's left over, what best guys are left over. And that's a very sought-after pick. Do the Jets and Darren Muji get clever and try to, move that pick for even more picks, specifically targeting the 2026 draft class? Because we all know how all the hype going in around that. Or do they move back and try to acquire some more picks and get a third-round pick for us? I don't know. But if we sit there and we're at number 3 and we hold that pick, there's 2 guys that I hope are available, and if they are available, the Jets should target. One, and this is a clear number 1 for me, is Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker out of Texas Tech. I love this guy. I love this dude. And I was almost about to push him up to that number 16 pick, but I know that's a stretch. But this is going to be a guy that he's going to be an immediate impact, steady, reliable linebacker in this league for years to come. Jacob Rodriguez, 6'1", 235 pounds, elite football IQ at the quarterback of the defense spot, the middle linebacker spot. He's going to be that dude. Extremely excellent production, tackling machine. Like I said, a quarterback of the defense. He does lack the size and the speed and the whatever you want to call it. But guess what? He is productive. Just like I talked about Rueben Bain Jr., the dude has been productive and consistent his whole college career. And that speaks volumes to me when it comes to translating and transitioning to the NFL. So that's my number 1 guy. I love him. I hope that he falls to number 33. We can pair him up, because we don't know what's going on with Jamie and Sherwood. We don't know if he's going to decide to strap on his fucking cleats this year and tighten up his fucking chin strap and actually play some fucking middle linebacker football and be productive. Because that's a guy that I want to see get moved, honestly. Out of all the stuff the Jets did in this offseason with the moves that they made, why didn't you move a guy like Sherwood? Why didn't you move a guy like fucking Will McDonald? Those are some knocks on the fucking Jets during this whole transitional period. The free agency, the trades and stuff. Gave this guy fucking Jeremy Sherwood 3 years and whatever, $44 million or whatever. And the guy came to work last year and just fucking put his uniform on and didn't do dick. So guess what? You take a guy like Jacob Rodriguez and you put him right next to Mario Davis, a fucking legend, of a consummate pro, veteran of this league. Let him learn behind him. And guess what? Now you got a guy that could sit back there for 10 years. And we got another fucking David Harris Jr. to really control our defense and be the fucking leader of our defense. Love David Harris. So my second guy at that pick, number 33, I'm not going to go too crazy about all this stuff because this is all fucking hypothetical stuff. We don't know what the fuck's going to happen. We don't know who's going to be on the board or be available. But another need for the New York Jets is the cornerback. We got to bring in some another guy that can hopefully be a starter for us. And that guy for me is D'Angelo Pons, the cornerback from Indiana. Listen, he's undersized. You can say whatever, 5'9", 173 pounds, but another guy that has excellent, elite football IQ, and he's exceptionally well in playing the zone. So he's a guy that you could slide inside, nickel, outside. He could do it all, and he's going to be consistent. He'll come up and he'll tackle, despite his lack of size and speed and all this other garbage. He's a football player. And he knows how to play the position very well. Like I said, he has incredible instincts. That's something, if you watched him, even if you watched him in the national championship game, he has incredible instincts. And I love that kind of stuff when it comes to football players. It's just something that can't be taught. It's instinctual. It's something bred into you. Nobody can teach you that. So moving on to pick number 44, right? Let's talk about this. And this is going to be something that probably be a shocker to a lot of you, but guess what? I do pretty well when it comes to these second round picks. If you talk about a couple years back, talking to my boys, after day one, I said, we need to go get Joe Tippmann. And guess what? We got Joe Tippmann. And look how good that turned out. So my guy at pick number 44, which I feel like he is a good shot of him being available, is Logan Jones, the center out of Iowa. Now, you think about it. I know you're saying that we have Myers at the center. If you look at our whole offensive line, if we can bring in a Logan Jones and insert him into the center position, which he's versatile, he can move out the guard, then plug him in to left guard, even though we brought the kid in from the Raiders, or you could put him in at center. Now you have the line completely solidified for many, many years to come. 6'3", 302 pounds. He has extremely good footwork. He's extremely agile for his size. And guess what? At the point of attack and blocking, he's nasty, he's feisty, he's mean. That's what I want to see. Listen, that's my opinion on that. If he's available at pick number 44, I would run the card up and put him in there, solidify this offensive line even more moving forward. His only knock on him is another fucking bullshit knock, his arm length. They say he's too short of arms, that it will create issues with him sustaining blocks. I didn't see any of that garbage. I don't know why all these fucking draft gurus are so fucking stuck on arm length. You know, maybe they got issues with length in other areas and they're compensating, but let's not go down that road. Yeah, so Logan Jones, pick number 44, the center from Iowa. I would love to see the Jets bring him on board and solidify that center position for many years to come, or potentially slide him out to that left guard spot. Leave Tippmann at the right guard. We all know we got our bookend tackles with Membu and Shanu. So listen, we'll be solidified at that point in the offensive line. So yeah, those are my guys. I'm not gonna go and give you a mock draft of every fucking round. I'm just not doing it. I don't have the time or patience to do that. These are the guys that I feel like the Jets should target. These are my guys that I feel like will make the best impact on there. And like I said, if you have your thoughts and feelings, please share them with me. I will close out by saying this. You know, we have to remember that the Jets selection this year is going to be predicated on Aaron Glenn, and Aaron Glenn knows he got a fucking fire on his ass. If he doesn't come out and nail these fucking draft picks, and this is the scary thing, I feel like that's why the Jets will reach on some of these guys, and because they need immediate impact. Aaron Glenn needs immediate impact, because if you see the Jets go 0-5 or whatever, 2-5, can you realistically say that the Jets are going to hold on to him and not just let him go midway in the season? I can't. I don't see it happening. And then in the bigger picture of things, you know, we don't need to be stretching for reaching for players. I know a lot of buzz around the number 16 pick is Ty Simpson from Alabama, the quarterback. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Listen, he might develop to be something great, but guess what? He's too much of a reach right now. We do not need that right now. Everything is being set up and geared for the 2027 draft, where we all know, it's been well known that many quote-unquote generational franchise quarterbacks are going to be primed to come out. We own 3 first-round picks moving to that, so we're in a funny situation and predicament, because Aaron Glenn is in a win-now situation. And is that going to be conducive to what the bigger picture is? Because obviously we know that we're not going to be competing for anything this year yet again, which is going to be hard enough to fucking stomach and watch. And seeing Geno Smith under center, which is another fucking thing I want to talk about. And how this could fuck up our 2027 draft. You know, obviously, the draft position, where the draft positions of the Colts pick and the Cowboys pick, that's not anything we can control. We don't know what will happen with that. But when it comes to the Jets pick, now you bring in Geno Smith. And guess what? let me tell you this. Let's be 100% certain on this. Geno Smith is going to come in here and he's going to air the ball out. And he's not going to give a damn about anything. Now, which is fine because he's playing for something right now, right? But also, for what? For what? Why did we bring him back? Why did we bring the ex-girlfriend back? Why did we do it? So all it's going to do is result in a negative outcome for the Nets. Everything is being geared up and ready for and primed for is to bring in our franchise quarterback next year. And guess what? Now you have Geno Smith step in there with something to fucking prove. He got something to fucking prove. Aaron Glenn is on the hot seat, and he wants to win right fucking now to save his job. So this is a recipe for fucking disaster for us to go be a 6, 7, 8 win team. For what? It's just gonna ruin our fucking draft, our draft position next year. We're gonna have to try to move up now and use our some of our picks to move up to get to these coveted top picks to select the franchise quarterback that we want. I could see this clear as day that this is what's going to happen. I don't understand the logic in bringing in Geno Smith like that. A guy that has something to prove, that's going to fucking air that ball out. You know, I don't know. I might be wrong and all that stuff. I hope I'm wrong. In regards to quarterbacks, the Jets better not even sniff around selecting a quarterback on day 1 or day 2. Let's be honest. Maybe day 3, I like the kid Carson Beck. Maybe he could develop into something. Or what's his name? Nussmeier, and a lot of people are talking about Aller from Penn State. These are like prototypical guys that Frank Reich would normally bring in, these big pocket passing quarterbacks. For me, I like Carson Beck in day 3. If you want to bring a guy to maybe develop for the future and be a future backup, whatever you want to call it. But that's it. I'll end with saying this. I'll end this whole draft thing with saying this. Woody Johnson, keep your fucking nose out of anything possible. You better sit your ass back on your fucking yacht or wherever the fuck you do your shit and stay the fuck out of that draft room. Do not put none of your fucking input into nothing. Keep your mouth shut. Let fucking Muji do his thing. Let Aaron Glenn do his thing. And keep your opinions to yourself. We don't need none of your fucking publicity stunts that you like to fucking pull or push these fucking weirdos on us. Keep your fucking opinions to yourself. You're the owner. You paid professionals, experts to do the job. Don't fucking butt in with nothing. Because I know damn well there's going to be reports that fucking Woody Johnson wanted. Listen, man, that motherfucker needs to be locked up in a room. Put him in somebody, grab him, put some handcuffs on him, throw him in the fucking janitor's closet for the duration of the fucking day 1 and day 2 draft of the draft. I don't want to hear him nothing. He needs to stay out of all football operations, period, point blank. That's all I got. Like I said, go Knicks tonight. Big Nick. Listen, it's an exciting time to be a Jet fan right now. We did very well in the free agency. Let's continue the ball rolling. Let's bring in some core players. These first 4 picks are going to be fucking surefire starters in this league for many years to come. We're going to nail every single one of them. Listen, I'm excited. I'm excited, and I know everybody gets excited this time of year, but for us Jet fans, this is it's a time of year where we just love, because we know going to the season, all hell's going to break loose. So this is the kind of stuff we got to look forward to, unfortunately, until we're proven otherwise. So that's my thoughts and feelings. Please share your thoughts, comments on your day 1 and day 2 picks. I'd love to hear it. Thank you for the support. Thank you guys sticking by me. I know I took some time off, but I'm going to start getting back into this stuff again. And as always, go Jets.